Black Sea, 30 nautical miles off the Turkish coast. Pitch black water, moonlight barely touching the waves. Then, a blur, a silhouette, something fast, low, silent, cutting the sea like a blade. Then, drone attack! Drone attack! Mayday! Mayday! A few seconds later, Putin's secret oil fleet is crippled and bleeding. For years, Russia relied on a hidden network, the so-called shadow fleet, tankers stripped of AIS signals, sailing under flags of convenience, hauling sanctioned oil to evade restrictions and bankroll the war. At least two of these tankers, Kairos and Virat, became the focus of Ukraine's latest asymmetric operation. Ukraine's Sea Baby drones, developed by the SBU, are engineered for one purpose: to kill ships that thought they were untouchable. These satellite-linked remote drones are 5 to 6 meters in length and carry 200 to 300 kilograms of high explosives and are virtually invisible to radar. These drones skim the waterline just above the physics sweet spot, where radar beams reflect off the sea surface and lose track of low-profile objects. It's the classic sea skimming envelope, but applied to unmanned boats. The Russians know this, but detection at night, against a low, composite-body drone? Nearly impossible. At 1944 hours, the drones break into the shipping lane. A decoy wave of smaller units leads the way, a tactic Ukraine has refined since 2023. Flood the sensor, confuse the operator, overwhelm the screen. While Russian or tanker security teams adjust radars or sweep the horizon with spotlights, the real killers flatten their profiles and approach at a shallow angle, using the curve of the earth and wave shadows as natural concealment. The Sea Baby's hull is designed to absorb and scatter radar energy. Its weight profile is minimal. Its thermal emissions are masked by seawater intake systems. From a distance, it looks like nothing more than a drifting log. But inside, inertial navigation, GPS backup, forward-facing thermal cameras, encrypted uplink to ground handlers. These are not hobby drones. These are guided torpedoes with cameras. At 1952 hours, first drone hits Kairos. A thundering shockwave rips across the water. The hull recoils, plates buckle inward, fuel mist vaporizes. A half second later, ignition. A wall of fire erupts, towering above the deck, instantly overwhelming the ship's fire systems. Crew scrambles. Mayday calls go out. Black smoke spirals into the night sky. At 1956 hours, another drone slams into Virat. Target: the engine room. The explosion guts internal systems, severs electrical lines, and forces emergency shutdowns. The ship begins drifting, dead in the water. Ukraine's SBU soon claims responsibility, and they release a video, grainy, raw, showing the drone's final seconds. The water rushing, a tanker looming, then static, then flame. This footage becomes strategic messaging, a warning, a promise of more to come. For Russia, the consequences hit deeper than a single night's explosions. 1. Loss of oil revenue. These tankers were expected to move nearly $70 million in sanctioned crude. That income now goes up in smoke, literally. 2. Insurance collapse. Insurers have already been wary of the shadow fleet. Now, premiums will spike. Contracts may cancel. A tanker that might cost $40 million to build becomes a floating liability overnight. 3rd strategic retreat. Since 2023, Ukraine has crippled over a dozen Russian naval vessels, forced the Black Sea Fleet to retreat from Sevastopol, struck oil terminals, refineries, bridges, and air bases. The Black Sea, once a Russian lake, is now a contested kill zone. 4. A new doctrine emerges. This strike shows the world something new. Naval power no longer belongs only to fleets. It belongs to whoever controls the drones. Small, cheap, disposable, mass-producible. A $250,000 sea drone can destroy a $40 million tanker. The economics alone are a revolution. Russian command scrambles. Countermeasures begin: shipboard jamming, scatterable nets, helicopter overflights, convoys with naval escorts, radar recalibration, high-frequency surface scans. But each countermeasure creates a new weakness, and Ukraine adapts fast. Sea babies evolve with fiber optic guidance, alternate frequency hopping signals, reduced thermal signatures, improved hull coatings, extended range up to 800 plus kilometers. Suddenly, every Russian tanker in the Black Sea becomes a target. The Shadow Fleet wasn't built to fight. It was built to hide. But hiding no longer works. With 2 tankers crippled in a single night, the entire fleet must rethink routes, escorts, and risk exposure. Even neutral countries begin quietly warning operators. Your ships are now high-risk assets. Russia's dilemma. Protect hundreds of tankers across thousands of miles against drones that cost less than a missile? Impossible. And the message to Moscow is unmistakable. If you use the Shadow Fleet to fund your war, Ukraine will burn it. This was not just a strike. It was a signal to the world. Navies everywhere are watching. Because the era of giant fleets dominating open water is fading. In its place rises a new reality: unmanned swarms, long-range remote guidance, cheap lethality, precision impact, asymmetry as strategy. The Black Sea is the laboratory. Ukraine is the innovator. Russia is the test subject. The smoke clears. The flames die. 2 tankers drift as steel carcasses in the rolling dark. But their destruction sends ripples far beyond the Black Sea. Economic, tactical, psychological. A reminder that in modern war, the smallest vessel can deal the deepest wound. You just watch the moment Russia's secret oil fleet became vulnerable, and the sea is no longer safe for the ships that feed the war. Bye for now.